Terry with Total Life Pursuit, and I am coming to you with teaching number 5. This is session number 5 to go along with the life planning manual, which we call the starting line. The starting line is a manual that will help you find your mission in life, and then it will help you to attain your mission in life by working it every day and every hour. If you haven't got it, go on Amazon, The Starting Line by Terry Miller. I'm the author and founder of Total Life Pursuit, and I'm glad you're with me today. I want to talk to you today about not falling short of yourself. Don't fall short of yourself. Now, what I mean by that is we all have this genetic maximum. Even things that are not body, okay, we have this maximum that we can attain. We have a built-in potential, and I'm sad to say that most people never reach it. In fact, graveyards are filled with dreams and ideas that never came to fruition. We have more to do with our genetic maximum or our maximum potential in every area of life than we think. It doesn't just happen. Think about a class at school. An A doesn't just happen. Think about a marriage. It doesn't just happen. Think about child, birth and bearing a child and, having pregnancy. It doesn't just happen, right? You have to make it happen. You have this potential. The man and the woman coming together have this potential to make a baby. And then the gestation in a woman, she has this potential to gestate and this potential to give birth. And then we as parents have the potential to raise a great human being. But we have to work for it. Are you with me? We have to work for it. It doesn't just come. And I think we stop too short of our capabilities. We might not take it. Let's go back to the pregnancy thing. We don't, stop short of, creating a child. You know what I'm talking about. We don't stop short of that. We don't stop short of gestation. Every woman wants to go 43 weeks, is it? I don't know. Whatever it is, 40 weeks. I got the 411. 40 weeks. Everyone wants to go 40. No woman wants to go 43. Okay, I'm sorry. So everyone wants to go 40 weeks, wants to go to full term, wants to push that baby out without a problem. But do we stop short of parenting like that person is this unique individual and we get to input love, acceptance, right, into that baby, into that young person, into that teenager. We get to input wisdom, knowledge, understanding, know-how. It's a wonderful thing. Do we stop short? I'm convicting myself. I'm going to move on. But we stop too short of so many things. There's this story in the Bible, Elijah. He was a great prophet, and one of the kings came and he said, hey, Elijah was suffering from a disease, and he was soon to die, and this king of Israel went down and wept over him and said, oh, my father, and Elijah said, get a bow and some arrows, and so he did, and he took the bows in his hands, and he said to the king of Israel, open up the east window. And he opened it and he said, shoot. And the Lord's arrow of victory, the arrow of victory over Aram. So that was an enemy of Israel that they were fighting with. And Elijah declared, you will completely destroy the Arameans at Apex. So in other words, you're going to win the battle. And take the arrows. And the king took them. And Elisha told him, strike the ground. And the king struck the ground 3 times and then he stopped. And then Elijah, he was like, why'd you only do it 3 times? What? Oh. You should have struck that ground 5 or 6 times. Should have put some passion in it. Okay, you would have defeated him, but now you're just going to, you're going to defeat him at that battle, but you're not going to completely destroy him. They're going to come back and get you later. Now, I've always read that, and I was like, well, that's kind of jacked up. He didn't tell him to strike it 3 times. At least he struck it. What I'm saying to you is he didn't go all the way. He didn't take the passion and just like, Yeah, we're going to beat those guys and we're going to win the war and no one can come against the army. And just go crazy with it. He was like, that's right. We will win. Do you get the difference? Because when we are talking about your genetic maximum, it's going to take some passion to get there. It's going to take some discipline, some motivation rather, and then the discipline. It's going to take that for you to get there. All right. So I'm training right now for a bicycle ride. I'm going to ride 630 miles or so. I'm doing it for my 60th birthday. I wanted to ride 600 miles on my 30th birthday. It turns out the ride I picked is about 630 miles. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not an avid bicyclist, although I do enjoy riding my bike. But I'm going to tell you this. The training, I'm just over it. I'm over it already. I've got like 2 months to go. About a little under 2 months to go until the ride. And I'm over it. I'm over training. I'm over riding out there, riding 50 miles, 60 miles. I'm over it. I don't want to do it anymore. I kind of dread it. It's like, okay, Saturday's here. I got to go do a 70-mile ride. That's the way I'm inside. But you know what? That's not going to accomplish anything. It's not going to accomplish anything. I have a goal. So I tell myself, no, you're going to go out and ride 70 miles because you have a goal. You're going to ride 80 miles a day until you hit 600. Okay, that's a lot of days. So my body has to be ready for that. So I do it. I take care of business. See, the point is, don't do what's easy. Well, that came easy. Instead, put your entire soul into it. So you got to ask yourself the question, what's my genetic maximum? What is my maximum potential? Could I have attained another degree? Could I have attained more wealth? Could I have more health? Could I be fitter than I am right now? Could I be closer in relationship with God? Could I have a better marriage or a better parent-child relationship? What is it? See, you have to put your heart into it. You got to put your heart into it. You got to go all the way. Even great athletes who it looks like just becomes second nature to them, doing all the things, dunking a basketball, doing their little pivot move, or, running through a bunch of linemen, and, or whatever it is, hitting a puck 95 miles an hour into a net, whatever it is. You think, well, it just kind of comes natural. No, it doesn't. They're really good, way better than most people. That's why they're professionals getting paid a lot of money. But it doesn't just come natural. They work very, very hard at it. If they're going to be the best, they have to work hard. And so do you. So you have to work hard. John 10:10 says, the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. I have come, Jesus is talking, so I have come that they, everybody, may have life and have it to the full. The word there in the Greek is this word perissos. This means remarkable. Remarkable life. Jesus came, just get a picture. Jesus came to give remarkable life. Not just getting by, not having a family, a house with a picket fence, and a retirement at 65 or 68, whenever it is these days. Not that. That's not what he came for. He came for remarkable. Being remarkable. Are you remarkable? If you're not remarkable in an area of life, then how about stepping it up? Step up your game. See, being remarkable, or we stop short of being remarkable for a few reasons. Number one, we think that this is all we can attain. Well, I'm never going to be able to attain that. I'll never be able to, this guy, he can go do, 20 pull-ups. I'll never be able to do 20 pull-ups. Actually, if you train yourself, you'll be able to do 20 pull-ups. Some people would need a lot more training than others, a lot more time than others, but you can do 20 pull-ups. You can do it. You just have to train for it. You have to go after it. So we think this is all we can attain because, well, I'm not that smart. I'm not that gifted. I'm not that good at relationships. How about this? I'm just not real intuitive in relationships, so I don't know what to do with my wife. Well, how long have you been with her? Well, 10 years. So, you know the stats on everybody on the Los Angeles Rams, but you don't know the stats on your wife. You feel me? It doesn't make any sense, does it? Be a student of your wife. Or, women, be a student of your husband. Okay? We think this is all we can attain, and oftentimes we're right. This is all we do attain, but we could attain a lot more. We judge our lives based on others. Number 2, this is why we don't overachieve, because, I got more than the Joneses, it used to be, but Joe Schmo, I can, at least I'm higher than them, at least I can do more than them, at least I did this more than them, and so now all of a sudden we're judged. It's kind of like the government scales, like the BMI scale, which is the average of the average, right? Oh, so I'm a little high on my BMI scale. Well, that's average of average. I had a friend who was a bodybuilder, walked into a doctor. He's 190 pounds. He's 5'8", and he's rock solid muscle. He's a bodybuilder. He's like, his biceps are like, wah, one of those incredible. His legs are gargantua. They're unbelievably developed. So the doctor is looking down, and he says, wow, you're pretty high on the BMI scale. You're almost obese. And my friend Paul, he said, Doc, open your eyes and take a look. See, the BMI scale is the average of average. Why are we judging ourselves off the average of average? Well, the average Joe doesn't do what I do, so I'm okay. No. At our gym, we write our scores down. Today I did a workout, and I wanted to beat my last score. And I almost beat it. It was so close. But I was pushing to beat my last score, not to beat someone else's score. I wanted to beat my last score. Are you with me? You getting what I'm saying? So, do you ever question whether or not you're remarkable in certain areas? Let me go through a couple. You can just think. You can stop the I almost said stop the tape, stop the recording if you want. Physical. Are you remarkable physically? Could you be more remarkable than you are? Are you remarkable mentally? Could you be more remarkable? Are you remarkable emotionally? Are you able to withstand internal kind of violent emotions? When someone really offends you, can you just go, that poor guy, he's probably having a terrible day. Could you do that? Could you be more remarkable? How about relationships? Are all of those remarkable? Oh, all my friendships are just remarkable. Is that how people would characterize it? How about your relationship with God? Number 1 relationship in my book. Is it remarkable? Is it so-so? Where are you at with that? And how about financial? Now, we all can judge the financial, right? Because it has numbers. It has desires. Are you remarkable in your finances? Do you remember the movie Facing the Giants? So Facing the Giants, yeah, I know, is whatever production. But it had this scene in there where this guy was doing bear crawls, which is on your hands and feet, you have to crawl a certain amount. So the team was doing bear crawls, and there's this one big guy, and I don't remember the whole situation, but he had to get a guy on his back and do bear crawls. But he had to blindfold himself and just listen to the coach. So the coach said, come on, let's go. And long story short, he ends up, even though he said, I can't go any further at 20 yards, at 40 yards, at 60 yards. I can't do any more. Just a little more. Just a little more. And he was all the way down the field. He went 100 yards. Bear crawls with someone on his back. He never dreamed that he could do it. So how come he could do it? Well, his thinking that I couldn't do it was eradicated by the blindfold. It was eradicated. And that's how he did it. If God is for you living remarkably, then guess what? He gives you the tools to do so. He gives you the resources. He's got to be dedicated. He said, I've come to give you remarkable life. But you're on your own trying to get there. Well, that's just ridiculous. I don't think that's right at all. The first thing we need to do then is change our thinking. We've got to change our thinking. We can't be thinking like a person who can't do it. We got to be the little engine that could. That's who we have to be. Yeah, I know it's a dumb nursery rhyme or whatever, kid's book. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. Hey, we need to do more of that. There's no professional athlete. There's no professional conductor that gets up and thinks, well, I hope this comes off okay. I don't know if I can do this, though. They're up there because they think they can. That's why they're the conductor, and you just paid money to get in and see them conduct. They think that. They think they can do it. First, we have to believe that we have the innate potential that God has given us. And secondly, we have to believe that God will superpower us to reach beyond our innate potential. Because if you can accomplish everything without God, then God isn't needed in your equation. And I would submit to you that that's never the mission that God gives you. He always gives you a mission that you need him. To hit your potential, you must believe. You got to believe. But you got to have grace for yourself. Everything's a process. I can't, 20 pull-ups. Back to the 20 pull-ups. How many can you do now? I can do 1. Well, then it's a process. You got to give yourself some grace in the process. I don't communicate well with my spouse. Give yourself some grace. Just don't give yourself an excuse to not get there. Because that's a big difference. Being in process and having grace with yourself and having an excuse and being out of process. Well, that's just the way I am. My mom and dad, they were both angry, and that's how they talk to one another, so that's just how I am. Well, no, that's not. That's how you've decided to be. I would encourage you, decide to be something else. Not angry when you talk to your spouse. In fact, loving when you talk to your spouse. Well, that's so hard. Oh. Okay, I'm not going to mock. The mocking spirit almost came over me. But I'm not going to mock you. I'm just going to tell you this. I'm going to be your coach. No, you don't say that to yourself. You say, you know what? I can be loving. I can respond lovingly. But she said, you can respond lovingly to that. Okay? Some have called this positive thinking. Some have called it possibility thinking. I call it God thinking. I want to think like he thinks. I want to think his thoughts for me. Whatever his thoughts are for me, I want those thoughts in my mind, and that's the way I want to think. So, can I be a PhD? Well, I'm sure I could study to be a PhD. God, am I going to be a PhD? I don't hear anything. That's crickets from God. Okay, so I'm not going to even consider being a PhD because God hasn't told me to be a PhD. Nothing wrong with being a PhD. Nothing wrong without being a PhD. It's God's path for you. It's God's path for me. I want his thoughts. Our potential will be released like never before if we think like God. Other thoughts can be dismissed. Like that, oh, you'll never be anything. You can't do that. I remember my mother saying, you can't run a marathon. That's 26 miles. I said, it's 26.2, and yes, I can. Other thoughts need to be dismissed. You need to jail the thoughts when they come in from outside sources or from your own head. You got to jail them. Put them in jail. When the messages come in, when the message from the boob tube, right? From the look at me Instagram, look at my life, it's totally perfect. When that comes in, my life is better than your life, Insta fame people, right? You have to jail it. Absolutely jail it. And then you have to measure it against what God says. And then you discard anything that doesn't line up. You think, well, that's harder than that. It is harder than that, but it'll get easier when you do it. So get your thinking right, and then get your tongue right. It's the last thing I want to talk to you about real quick. Is you got to get your tongue right. You got to get your tongue right. Because if your thinking is right and your tongue is wrong, your tongue is going to influence your thinking because you're going to be hearing that. So I'm here to tell you, the Bible says that the tongue is a rudder and it steers a big old ship. Okay? So what steers the ship? The rudder. What's the rudder? The tongue. So get your tongue going with your mission, with your potential. Proverbs 18:21, one of my favorite proverbs. The tongue has the power of life and death. And those who love it will eat its fruit. Those who love the tongue, they'll eat its fruit. In other words, I'm going to be eating some fruit of life because I'm going to be speaking what I'm thinking. I'm going to be thinking what God is thinking. And that is the key, my friends. So out loud, you got to say it. Yep. What you'll accomplish. What you'll behave like. This isn't pixie dust, like if I just say it, I'm going to do it. No, it's not pixie dust. It's not, I'll just say it. I'll confess it, and then I'll be it. That's not it. It's getting this, and this all in concert. And magic does happen then. But there's no pixie dust. There's none. It's work. It's strength. And it's God's superpower that he gives you. Because he has given us miraculous power. He's given us what the Bible calls dunamis power or dynamite. If you'll get on God's thinking with your life and think like that yourself and then talk like that yourself, then you'll be on your way to hitting your potential. You believe that today? I hope you receive it. That's a good word from God to you. He cares deeply about you. He wants you to be remarkable. He wants you to hit your potential. I'm Terry with Total Life Pursuit. I'll see you next time.